Let's talk Tanya for the 14th day of the first Adar, Purim Katan. So, we're middle of the Mevachenle process, crushing the ego. First, we spoke about contemplating the idea that our identity is that of the animal soul, that itself is a deflating thought and crushes the ego. And then yesterday's Tanya, we spoke about contemplating also the fact, the averos that we have done, the sins that we have done. And as we explained yesterday, even if we have done tshuva, nevertheless, the process of tshuva is ongoing. We need to continue. Now, I suspect that at least on the simplest level, the topic of today's Tanya might not be so relevant to most of us over here. The Alter Rebbe says, okay, but what if you've never done any sins? So then we can't say, well, I need to contemplate my lowliness because of the sins that I have done, and I have to do a higher level of tshuva. I've never sinned. So here the Alter Rebbe says, that's true, you might not have sinned, but now is the time to take a step back and think about all your machshava, dibur ma'isa, all your thoughts, all your words, all your actions, from the day that you were born until this very day. Were they all holy words, thoughts, and actions? Or were they self-oriented, self-centered? Or they were, in other words, not l'shem shamayim, they were not for the sake of heaven. And we know that whenever someone is engaged in a thought or saying something or an action which is not motivated by the service of God, at that moment that person is what we call a merkava, is a vehicle for the energies of klipa, the energies of unholiness. Why? Because holiness is about serving God. And if you're not serving God at the moment, and whatever it may be, eating, drinking, sleeping, shopping, whatever it may be, if you're not serving God at this moment, that is klipa. That means that this is the power which is not transparently holy, not transparently about serving God. And thinking about that, thinking about how often, how many times throughout your life, you are a merkava, you are a vehicle for the energy, the unholy energy of klipa, that itself also is an ego-crushing thought. And this again takes us back to the larger understanding, which Tanya tries to imbue us with, which is that life is not about right versus wrong, doing the right thing and abstaining from doing the wrong thing. Of course, we need to do the right thing and stay away from the wrong thing, but Tanya raises the bar, and Tanya tells us it's about holy versus unholy. And it's very nice that you never sinned, but how many times in your life were you in a state of unholiness? And thinking about that also is a crushing thought. Now, I just want to reorient and remind everyone over here, I know that the last few days of Tanya, it's tough stuff, and it's somber, and it's definitely not joy-provoking or producing, but just remember, this is not something which a person is supposed to be contemplating on a regular basis. We're not trying to crush our ego on a regular basis. There's a very specific goal we have over here. We're trying to deal with the timtum alev, the stopped-up heart, the apathy, and the emotional unresponsiveness that we're dealing with, and ultimately, by crushing the ego, it's going to take us to a place of joy, as we will find out in the coming chapters. But we're not there just yet. Instead, tomorrow we're going to discover an entire different genre, a whole different way of crushing the ego. And I'm sure you're all very excited to hear about that. And that, again, for that, tune in to tomorrow's Let's Talk Tanya.